Hello, good morning. Just doing a health update. It's been a while. I'm just, trying to wait for the results of a test so that I felt like I had something to report. And that test has taken long. Well, I don't know. It's taken longer than I expected. Maybe it hasn't taken a long time. That's um, subjective. So, anyway, I'm on my way into the hospital right now in a few minutes for a procedure. So during my hospital stay, they had stopped putting on the sort of lower leg massage anti-DVT device that they do for a few days. And I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, we could put that on." And I was like, I don't know, it had been on, and then it stopped going on, and they finally had the wherewithal and somebody's attention to mention it, and they said, "Well, we'll put it back on." So we put it back on. And sometime after, I asked them about these new sensations in my legs, and they said, they could order a ultrasound. And I argue in my memories that was like 3 days after they said they could do it, that they did it. Anyway, they did it, and they found a blood clot. And so I've been on daily medicine twice a day. My understanding, it's a average, it's a low dose, which I guess is average or usual, common probably. And then one of the things that we did after the hospital is went in for a procedure where they put in a filter into I think the inferior vena cava. I think go through the jugular. And so there's this filter that they put in so that if that blood clot moves on it, on its way to the lungs, it may get caught. So anyway, my understanding is they don't like to keep that filter in very long, and that's what my procedure is today, is to go in and have it removed, which I expect will be similar to the emplacement procedure. So relatively brief visit and walk home, afterwards. Be on my feet afterwards, probably get a ride home. So they did a CAT scan prior to this procedure, so recently, to image the filter to see if it had broken or if it had tipped, kind of come out of position, and everything looks good. It doesn't, it looks like exactly how they'd like to see it. And I guess the longer it's in, the more likely that it can break or come out of position and, maybe cause its own problems or difficulty retrieving it. So anyway, that's the plan for today. The ctDNA test that I've been waiting for, my initial understanding was that it would take about 2 weeks. When I spoke to the actual company, they said it's more like 3 weeks for the first time. At this point, I think it's been 4, maybe 5 weeks, something like that. And I haven't heard. Matter of fact, they've actually taken my blood sample for my second of the same test. And that was taken, of course, before anybody has results for the first. So at some point, I'm sure I'll reach out again to my doctor or the company or somebody and say, hey, is it still happening? Was it lost? Is there a problem? Or am I just being impatient? But I think we're well past the stated expectations, and I haven't done this before, so I figure I might as well light a fire somewhere so we find out. And that DNA test is supposed to see if they see any circulating in my system DNA that matches my specific tumor, the DNA profile of my actual tumor, or tumors, I guess you could say. And so I guess it's a less less challenging to the system way of estimating cancer remaining in the system rather than through radiology. So anyway, so that's today. I have with Dr. Gaup the retrieval. A week from today in the afternoon, I have I think my second post-op follow-up with Dr. Billingsley, who's the liver surgeon, and I haven't had any alcohol since they first told me. So whenever that was, September, October, something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to now, like have a beer or something, but I haven't. But I haven't noticed any liver issues. I think before I go in there, they do a blood test too to look at liver function, I think. Just about a week after that, on June 20th, I have my second follow-up with the pulmonologist. I feel like my cough is quite resolved through the protocol we've been following. That doctor hasn't followed up in terms of renewing my prescription, so that's just kind of disappeared into the ether, and I don't feel like chasing it down and following up. I tried once or twice, and I'm just I found a workaround, an OTC workaround, and I'm just gonna follow that. Obviously, I'll bring it up when I'm there in person, but and then June 28th. So the week after that, then I go back for another CT scan, which is, I think, CT scan number 20. So I think I get a free CAT scan machine after that. So I go in for that, and that's in service of seeing the medical oncologist, Dr. Stein, sometime after that, I think a week or so after that. So June 28th, I go in for that, and then July 5th, I go in to see Dr. Stein. And so Dr. Stein, I'm presuming that it is just a general follow-up, but I think that in order to do the follow-up, we want to know the ctDNA results. And we don't have them yet. Maybe we'll have them by then. And maybe if we don't have them by then, we postpone that follow-up, which might mean we postpone the CT scan and the blood draw. I'm not really sure. So I think as I get closer to that, I'll reach out to them and say, is this still appropriate to do this follow-up, or do we have enough information to do a follow-up on? I mean, I'm sure they want to check my vitals and check in with me, but I don't really know. And the general idea is that blood test, circulating DNA blood test, is intended to help us decide if I'm moving towards chemotherapy in the near term or not, moving towards or moving away. It was supposed to be like another data point to help us determine next steps. Meanwhile, my next steps are just meditate, eat, exercise, rest, as well as I can, and build up my strength. Maybe to be stronger to face chemotherapy again, or maybe to be strong enough just to return to something like a life. So that's July 5th. Then a month later, August 4th, I see my APRN as a follow-up, which I think is just an overall follow-up. And then the next thing on my calendar is, June 20th, 2024 for just my annual exam. So we'll see what else gets added. I do plan to stop at my eye doctor today to order glasses on my way back from the hospital, if I can remember and there's time. But so I guess that's sort of a doctor visit. Anyway, that's the update. Thank you for your contributions. Thanks for your help. Thanks for your support. Thanks for following me on Patreon and social media. Thanks for attending classes. Thanks for sharing information about classes. We are planning to get this gazebo up soon, and then host a Sunday afternoon, a little mini workshop and picnic to thank everybody for all the help. No date announced for that because I want to get this gazebo up. So I don't plan and announce something and then need to change it if there's a delay. So thank you all super, super very much. The support has been most appreciated and necessary. Love.